Levy Fund, RMLF. The issue is very clear. It was raised by the member for Bumula. Many members have been raising along the way to have a first go. Then I will allow a few of you so that we can have this matter behind us.
That's good. Honorable Speaker, members of National Assembly, thank you for inviting me to clarify on this contentious issue.
Oh, Angela, will you move to where you normally sit? Well done. And let nobody go to disturb Angela.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Members of the National Assembly, thank you for inviting me to clarify on this long outstanding issue that we need to resolve quickly, because the RMLF, which is an A-in-A levy that we use to maintain our roads, when withheld as it is today through that court order or ruling, do hurt us in terms of development for the country. More importantly, at a time like now, when we have experienced rains and a number of our roads are impassable, and yet we are withholding some 10.5 billion Kenya shillings, an amount that could have gone a long way to maintain our roads. And unless we resolve this challenge, Honorable Speaker, we could continue withholding in 2025-2026, and that's not good for the challenged levy. And therefore, Speaker, allow me to give a brief overview of the situation on the RMLF and where we are today on the amount that is being withheld due to the High Court ruling in Nairobi case number HCC HRPET stroke E423 of 2024, which issued an interim conservatory order on 19th August 2024, directing the Kenya Roads Board to freeze and withhold RMLF funds collected in the year 2024 to the extent of 10,522,211,858, and to be allocated to county government, to be withheld. So I think it has to be read in context, the whole sentence. In compliance with the court order, Honorable Speaker, members, the ministry has to date withheld that amount of RMLF allocation to Kera and Kura for the financial year 2024-2025. And the amount today withheld on account of both Kera and Kura totals 7.488 billion. It is 7,488,061,000 224 Kenya shillings. The amount withheld on account, that's the total amount. The amount withheld on account of KERA is 5.37 billion, and the account withheld on account of KURA is 2.51 billion Kenya shillings, a total of 7.89 billion. Of course, it will build up because RMLF is collected on monthly basis, or even twice, 3 times every month, because we collect from every cargo of petroleum products that dock into Mombasa. And today we have collected we have withheld 7.89. And as we progress towards the end of the year, we expect to withhold the 10.5 billion that I just mentioned, that the order has been, the conservatory order has been given. Honorable Member Speaker, the Ministry shall release the withheld funds upon determination of the petition before the High Court, but we've proposed, honorable members, to walk through an alternative mediation mechanism so that we can unlock this challenge and get this money to work for us, because at the moment we are working for the money, because the money is sitting there and we are doing so much work to bring in the money instead of really allowing the money to work for us. In the annual public roads program, honorable members, Speaker, for the financial year 2024, KERA had planned to maintain a total of 22,175 kilometers of road network, while KURA had planned to maintain a total of 2,990 kilometers through various interventions within the urban towns. So, honorable members, what measures are we really taking to really unlock this challenge and basically ensure that we don't suspend work? When this happened, Speaker, honorable members, we had already, when we got the court order, that conservatory order, KERA and KURA had gone to tender and were in the process of awarding or had awarded some of the roads to contractors who had successfully gone through the bidding process. And because of that order and the need to order and the need to and that's why I talked to Maltia. KURA retained the financial year 2024-25 planned outputs of the same 2,990 kilometers. However, to accommodate the deficit, the road works were contracted, like I said, as multi-year projects to be financed partially in the current financial year 24-25 and the financial year 25-26. But given what we are doing at the ministry, and what I would urge the House to do with us is to seriously embrace mediation and resolve this challenge so that we can spend this money in the current financial year. In addition, Kura adopted maintenance intervention that have a bit of lower scope and scale down rehabilitation and periodic maintenance intervention. So, honorable members, let me basically say I have, like I said previously, and even this morning, when I've been in various high-level meetings, recommended that the National Assembly, with a good mediation process, engages with the Council of Governors to resolve the petition out of court, as withholding of the road maintenance fund has a significant negative impact on the condition of our roads. This affects citizens who do not distinguish between and do not understand the challenge between whether it is county or national roads. The impacts may continue to the next financial year, which we do not wish should happen. And it is our prayer, the ministry, and as we provide some high-level leadership to ensure that the mediation is agreed upon to be the way forward to quickly resolve this challenge, and therefore allow the roads that had been tendered to be completed in the current financial year. So efforts are being made, even as I speak, address the House now to resolve this matter, and I really request that we work on an amicable solution to address this challenge, so that 10 billion, honorable members, honorable speaker, is a lot of money. And like I said, if we don't resolve this challenge, 10.5, assuming for 2 years, would be 21 billion, which is as much as the allocation under the 32% allocation. You do know, honorable chair members, that the sharing of this RMLF revenue is in the ratio of 40% for Kenya, 32% for Kera, and 15% for Kura. So to withhold 10 billion, 10.5 billion, it is so significant. We just went through the securitization and raised a bridge funding facility of about 63 billion, which we have paid most of the contractors, including the Eastmen, the Waylifts, and all the contractors are going back to work with that amount, having sorted out pending bills at 40%, which have accrued for the last 5-6 years. So the 10 billion is so significant that to unlock this impulse and get that money working for us through the established RMLF Act, and at a time like now, when we have got the reins and be able to access markets for our products, ease movement of people and goods is something that is top on the agenda. And I would like to confirm to this Parliament this afternoon that I'll provide, from where I sit, I'll provide leadership to ensure that this mediation is handled at that level that will yield positive results, so that we can get the money back to where it ought to be, and for that money to work for us and the people of Kenya. I thank you, Speaker and honorable members. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. That you allowed to invite the Minister here, who is also my friend. Bwana Minister, most of the things you've said are the things we know. All that information, these members have it. A few questions for you. The court said you withhold 10.5 billion from RMLF. It did not say you get it from Kera or Kura or only. Mr. Minister, who's a good friend of mine, you have an allocation, minister's allocation from this RMLF, which is 10%. In the spirit of caring, okay, we have KWS, which has, Kenha, which has the biggest chunk. In the spirit of being a good driver of the ministry, knowing the impact of Kera roads in this country, why didn't you get this 10.5 from your allocation and Kena, so that you let the Kera money continue operating? Bwana Minister, you know that it's a rainy season. The most affected roads are Kera roads. So what I expected of you, Honorable Minister, is not to pass the ball. You know, while you are enjoying, Kera is suffering. And Kera is mwananchi wa kawaida hapo chini. So I want your undertaking, I beseech you, in the spirit of devolution and taking resources to grassroots, forfeit 10.5 billion as we wait for mediation.
You are now walking into the hands of the governors.
My point is made.
That is the point they are using to fight you.
Decentralization of funds.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, in the spirit of decentralization of funds, bearing in mind that Kera roads affect the localest of the local, Mr. Minister, we want your undertaking today.
There is no English word called localist.
You know, in difficult situations, Honorable Speaker, you can use any language possible so that the minister understands how I'm putting my points across.
Yes.
2, Honorable Minister, we hope that you give us that undertaking. 2, we want to know how much have you released of the 22% and of the 10% to Kera.
Thank you.
And therefore to regional offices.
Thank you.
3, and most important, Honorable Minister, there is word that has been going around that you want to securitize Kera money, either 10% or 22%. For the avoidance of doubt, you have too much money to deal with. We don't want securitization of either 22 or 10%. And please take note that we refuse any invitation to this conversation. You have too much money. Please deal with that too much money and leave Kera alone, Mr. Minister. That one we will not deal with it.
Point made.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Well done. Honorable members, I'll give 3. DK, you are the trade unionist.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you for honorable members on my side for agitating for that. At least I make my comments on it. Honorable Speaker, first I would like to say thank you to Waziri for having come so that you can be able to shed light on this very important national issue. Currently, it is raining. The 22% and the 10% of the Kera money are so local that as we are going for recess, it is something that this House has said that today we need a solution. I know, Waziri, you are a man of statistics, a man of data, and a man who is strategic.
Stop praising the minister. Ask him a question.
No, I'm coming there. I'm building. But
ask him a question.
What I'm asking is, Speaker, I have to build so that I find So what I'm asking is,
Yes.
the 10.6, you have actually said the mechanical way in which it has been initiated by the courts. What we are asking is, why don't you, in the overall RMLF funds, the fuel levy funds, instead of it lying idle, and given that by June, by the end of this financial year, instead of that money lying idle, you work on the mathematics as we are mediating on the issue and be able to release the remaining 22% and 10% as at 30th of April, so that as we go on from next week, at least the Kera roads can be able to be worked on, so that at least our people can be able to enjoy. So we really want you to, instead of being mechanical in terms of execution of that court case, let us be dynamic and be able to say, this is the money that is disposable that we can be able to use, so that it can be recouped in case of the worst when it gets to 30th of June. And this is, and I want to assure you, Waziri, there is no money that can go to the counties without passing this house. This is the only house that appropriate funds. And there is no court in Kenya that can pretend that they can allocate money to any agency, to any devolved units, without passing the National Assembly. So it is very important that even if what is agreed, finally it has to come to this house. And that is why, in the wisdom of this house, we said we are going to pass additional allocation to counties minus RMLF. So all these stories, unless it is earning interest, all these stories, it has to come to this house. So kindly, working on that dynamism, kindly release the 22% and the 10% by next week, so that we are able to work on our roads. Thank you.
Mawade.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to beseech and encourage the CES that there is a formula that can be a win-win formula. Without going into the details, Mr. CS, as recommended by one of my colleagues, you can find a way to still release 22% and the 10% from the fuel levy fund from other sources, but not necessarily Kera. That way we can repair all these roads that have been affected by the rain. Mr. Speaker, in the ongoing communication and negotiation, I am sure we can find a win-win situation where they can, the CES can release the funds back to us, and the governors can sign a consent to release the funds back to us, and the parliament leadership is aware of the formula, and with your guidance, Bwana CS, I am sure these funds will be released to us as soon as possible. We are urging you to please release these funds to 22% and 10% back to the members, please.
Yes, member from Meru at the back. Yes. Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Karido, the MP Gembe Central.
Gembe Central, I've been to your place.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
And you're welcome back again to Gembe Central. Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I want to encourage and to make it clear to the CS. I think most of us are not new in this country, and we are moving around our counties every day, and we have seen what Kera has done. There is no other fund, especially on loans, which is doing what Kera has done, touching every common person, and even the inner loans that goes to the rural areas, which are dependent upon by our people for survival. in ferrying their products and even for movements. Therefore, I encourage the CS to move with the fast and make sure that our 22 and 10% funds remains intact and they are relayed to the counties, to the general managers for the carer so that they come to our constituencies. Because right now, after these rains, most of our areas are impassable, especially in my area of Wigembe Central. There are two sub-counties, and one sub-county is completely unconnected. Without the carer funds to repair those roads, they will remain in Komikunakando. They cannot move out from their areas to the towns and to the major centers. Therefore, I encourage the Speaker, the CS to release those funds so that our people can survive. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. CS, listening to you, other than lamenting and encouraging mediation, I've not seen a solution to the collapsed roads in Lugari constituency. In fact, if I live here without something that says there would be money to carer to start repairing the roads, even the public participation that we intend to go and do, we may be unable to carry it out because the constituency is impassable. My question is basic. When you have a basket or a granary and you are requested that we want some bags of maize from that granary, and the granary has paddocks, you want 10 bags from 100 bags. Why do you decide to pick 10 bags from the elder son and leave the 10 bags of the middle son or the young son? Secondly, I would really like to know from UCS, if you have traveled across this country, you know very well that roads are categorized. The carer roads, which are national government roads, if you securitize money, the way the memo for the 10% to the carer reads, leaving them with 482,000, in where I have kilometers ranging to 184 carer roads. If you securitize 22%, are you saying that a person in a rural road is a lesser Kenyan than a person in an urban road? Are you saying constituencies that do not have tarmac road should perish? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Nyakundi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to give the CS solution to this problem. He has money for CS allocation. As we wait for the mediation to go on, kindly give us that money, because we all even don't know how the CS allocation is distributed within this country. Because we've been having problems with our roads. We come to your office and we get no solution. We get no money to solve those small roads. Number two, 10% and 22% of this money, the 10% and 22%, kindly don't dare touch it, because this is the money that is solving the problem that we have at home of small roads. So kindly don't dare touch it. Lastly, there is money that is normally given out because of public participation. The Budget and Appropriations Committee normally moves around the country. It has come to a point that we have demonetized these small roads to a point that any small road is seen like it's not supposed to be there. It's money that is going to someone's pocket. These roads are meant to serve our people. You will get a bridge of 10 million. And once you put the 10 million, it looks like there is someone who wants to eat the 10 million Kenya shillings. Let us not demonize this money.
Point made.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kiamba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and the CS for this forum. I think there was a good rationale why we had Kera and Kura. I don't know whether the rationale has changed. And I think one of the rationale was to have the problem of roads solved as fast as possible. When we get all this money and collect it at the national level, in my constituency, I only have less than 20 kilometers of tarmac road. If we do away with this Kera, are you saying people in Makueni should just stop living, selling and buying, waiting for what they do not know? So I'm requesting the PS to be considerate. Institutions are not collapsed overnight. Institutions are built with a rationale, and if they have to stop, there has to be good rationale. Thank you.
GK.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me say I am a happy man today, now that the Cabinet Secretary is here in the House to listen to the sentiments of my colleagues. Honorable Speaker, the questions that are being raised here today, Cabinet Secretaries, are the questions that I'm asked as chair. Yet, I don't have the answers, or the buck does not stop with me as chair. The buck stops with the executive, and you are the representative. So, Cabinet Secretary, I picked two issues that I'll be happy to hear your response on. One, the mediation. When do you intend to call for this mediation? If you can give us the timelines of when you want to do the mediation, and who will be the members of this mediation team. Two, there is an issue that has been raised by my colleague DK, not DK, I think, about Maram roads. Clearly, it looks like this money, it has been decided that any amount that goes into maramming our roads goes into pockets of people, which is not true. This money, these roads are very, very critical. They are what I would call the last mile link roads. It is not possible, Cabinet Secretary, to tarmac all our roads in the country. We have sections of our rural roads that require graveling and heavy grading and graveling. So we do not want to take the mindset, or to accept the mindset that this money goes into waste. Last time, I was not in the very good books with the government because I was in the opposition, so to say. So I did not get much resources to do tarmac roads in my constituency. But I used the retro money that came my way through RMLF, Kera, the amount of money members are agitating for here. And that is what kept my constituency roads motorable for a period of 5 years. Even if that road would only last for 7 or 10 years, it is very helpful to the people who who live in the rural areas. And therefore, Cabinet Secretary, and you know you have my full support. Please do not take that direction of refusing to give resources for Maram roads. Thank you.
CS, can you respond to those? Members, I allocated 30 minutes. We have gone over by 2 minutes. Let the CS respond.
Thank you.
Almost all the issues are the same. Yes.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. Let me start with Honorable Jack Wamboka Wanami. I think the question raised as regarding the criteria used in withholding the 10.5 was basically, you'll recall, members, that between 2016 and 2021, the Kura and Kera part of the RMLF money was being administered and managed by the county governments. And it just came back during that 2021 when that decision was made to bring back that money because of certain administrative concerns at the time. And so the Kena money, or rather RMLF portion of 40%, has never been devolved to the county government. So the merit that we did employ and the contest by the county government was more on what they felt was within the ambit of the Schedule 4 of the Constitution in defining the national and the county roads. So basically that is what we employed to withhold the percentage in the proportions of 15% of 47%, because the 32% of Kera and the 15% of Kura adds up to 47. So we employed a formula of withholding a portion of 15 out of 47 and 32 out of 47 in that ratio. But members, I am more positive in seeking to resolve this issue amicably, because as much as it impacts on the members of parliament, it's a challenge which is impacting on all of us as Kenyans. And therefore we need to resolve this issue like today, tomorrow, at the soonest. Because like I said, Honorable Speaker, that 10.5 billion is a lot of money. And at a time like now, if we release this resource to yourselves, we'll be able to really address a number of the major challenges affecting the entire country as it were. So to basically just combine that question from Jack Wanami and my chairman, GK, Member of Parliament from DIA, we are seriously seeking the soonest opportunity to get the mediation chaired at a high level with appropriate leadership that can basically resolve this issue in one sitting and basically allow this resource to really build this country and work for us. And I want to believe we should be able to do this within this financial year, because it does not help anybody that money is sitting there earning interest, and we are losing so much given the state of our roads, movement of goods and people, which is basically impaired. So really, on the question of Mheshimiwa Langat, DK, I think we're going to be releasing the balance of the RMLF money next week. I've been given the numbers. I'm sitting here with the DG KRB. We'll be releasing the balance next week. We have the numbers, and therefore, even as we withhold and we would wish to seek to ensure that we resolve this challenge and release the full amount of 10.5, the balance of 3.533 billion, which is outstanding to the end of the financial year, will be released next week in the ratio of 2.43 billion towards Kera roads and 1.1 billion towards Kura roads. That will be released within next week. With respect to the concern of securitization as raised by, was that Member of Parliament for Igembe Central?
Igembe Central.
Igembe Central, Kili. We do not wish to securitize part of the RMLF that is addressing from Kera. We noted that, and we'll be coming to this House to seek necessary amendments to the statute that governs RMLF. We have the annuity fund, and you know, annuity has not taken off as it were because the risk placed on annuity on the maintenance front is so high. So most of the annuity roads which were meant to be done on annuity have basically collapsed, and we are sitting on 3 shillings under annuity. And a few roads which were done in annuity can be managed within 50% of the 3 shillings. And therefore, we can take 1 shilling and 50 cents, securitize, return that money to yourselves in the various constituencies to be able to address the road challenges, maintenance and development that we are facing today. We did also propose to securitize part of the CS allocation that for a long time has not, like one member said, not been well distributed in an equitable way to all the constituencies because there are emergencies across the whole country. And yet, this equivalent of 1 shilling and 80 cents or 1 shilling and 50 cents, which sits under the CS allocation, could be securitized. And securitization, really, when you get the discounted future value over 10 years, we can raise as much as 120 billion today and come to this House to agree on how we can build our roads in Kenya. And you do know the challenges we have on the low-volume seal roads that need maintenance and that are orphaned because we don't have maintenance to those some of those low-volume seals. So securitization does not seek to really impact majorly on the Kera because Kera is addressing a very specific role, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, when we talk to securitization, we're basically looking at making best use of some of the RMLF money within the armpit of Kenya, where we think we can get 1 shilling from Kenya, we can get 1 shilling from CS allocation, we can get 1 shilling and 50 cents from annuity fund, and therefore securitize, raise some 120 billion and address the challenges, including what we have done through securitization of the 7 shillings. That raises 175, and like I said, 63 billion, which has already come, honorable members, has returned the bridge facility of the 63 of the 175 has made all the contractors to go back to work. So if there is any stranded road or due to a bending bill in any part of the country today, I would like to take up that and ensure the contractor resumes work because we have paid them on account of securitization for the bending bills, and therefore we should be able to get them to complete and continue with some of those projects. Mheshimiwa Nyakundi, I think I've answered the question on we don't intend to touch the 22%, and if we have to, we'll do it, and really not before we do public participation within the principles of Parliament, so that we all agree on what it means in terms of unlocking the challenge that faces our roads in Kenya today. Mawade, Mheshimiwa Mawade, Embakasi South, we are looking at a win-win, and I think if we can unlock, and we would like to unlock, I'm hurt most as a Minister for Roads to see some 10.5 billion sitting there and not being able to deploy. The challenge between the county government and the National Assembly is not so much on the concern of, it's a concern of how can we quickly use this money to sort out the challenges that afflict our people, particularly at a time like now. Kenya will not understand the difference between the county government and the national government in maintaining roads. And therefore, allow me, Speaker, honorable members, to provide some high level of leadership to ensure that the high office do help us to address this through mediation and resolve this issue so that even as we release the balance of 3.533 billion next week, we should really talk to how sooner do we release, like George Kariuki raised, how sooner do we release the 10.5 billion? And within this financial year, so that the smart idea of doing a multi-year does not have to really go to, we don't have to go to 2026, 25, 26 with the programs of 24, 25. We should be allowed to finish the programs that we did plan for 2025, 26. Lugari, Honorable Nabwere, Nabi, I think I've really addressed that. Nabwere, we honestly do not wish to impact on the RMLF 22% and 10%, even as we think through securitization. But securitization, honorable members, when we possibly conference, should be really the solution to discount the value of the money that we should be collecting for the next 10 years and allow us to use that money in the next 2-3 years and address the challenges that are facing the road sector today. I don't know whether there is any moramming of roads and the CS allocation. Like I did mention, securitization has unlocked 63 billion already. We'll be going out to list 20% and 80% on the bond market to raise 175 and be able to address, on account of the securitization, the challenge facing the road. And like I've said, I would like to really get any road that is stranded today on account of pending bill, because we are able to pay, if they have not resumed, it's just because of the challenge of the, any honorable speaker, members, any road which is stranded on account of pending bill, we should be able to get the contractors back to work, because we've paid them 40% and they have signed up what we developed as settlement agreement. The settlement agreement is a return to work formula, and they are all going back to work. In fact, I did address all the contractors this morning in a breakfast meeting, and they should all be getting back to work. Thank you.
Minister, take your seat. Honorable members, I'll do another round. Give me 2 minutes to give you a communication under order 3. Then I'll give you, owing to the immense interest I see. Take your seat. Honorable members, I have a message from the President as a referral of 2 bills to the National Assembly. Pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 42, I wish to report to the House that I've received 2 messages from His Excellency the President regarding the referral of the following bills to Parliament for reconsideration: the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025, and the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2023. Order cases. When a communication is being made, it's good to listen. Honorable members, in the first message, His Excellency the President conveys that pursuant to Article 115(1)(b) of the Constitution, he has considered the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025, and referred it back to the National Assembly for reconsideration, expressing reservations concerning the bill. In the Presidential Memorandum of Referral of the bill back to the National Assembly, His Excellency the President has expressed reservations on Clause 3 of the bill. In the second message, His Excellency the President conveys that pursuant to Article 115(1)(b) of the Constitution, he has considered the conflict of interests and referred it back to Parliament for reconsideration, expressing reservations to the bill. In the Presidential Memorandum of Referral of the bill back to Parliament, His Excellency the President has expressed reservations on clauses 2, 5, 6, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, 20, 30, 31, and 35 of the bill. Further, His Excellency the President has detailed the reasons for his reservations to the said clauses and made recommendations thereof for consideration by the Houses of Parliament. Honourable members, having made his reservations on the two bills, which are contained in the memorandum to the House, His Excellency the President now requests Parliament to reconsider the bills in accordance with the provisions of Article 115 of the Constitution. Honourable members, you may recall that this House passed the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025, on 16th April 2025, following which I presented the bill to His Excellency the President for assent in accordance with the provisions of Article 113 of the Constitution. You may also recall that the National Assembly and the Senate passed the mediated version of the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bill, number 12 of 2023 on 5th December 2024 and 8th April 2025, respectively. Thereafter, I presented the bill to His Excellency the President for assent in accordance with the provisions of Article 113 of the Constitution. This House is therefore required to consider the President's reservations to the specified clauses in respect of each bill. Standing Order 154.2 requires the House to consider the President's reservations within 21 days upon receipt of the memorandum. Honourable members, with respect to the President's reservations to the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill 2025, the message from His Excellency the President, together with the Presidential Memorandum of Referral, are hereby referred to the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. With regard to the Conflict of Interest Bill 2023, you may recall that its passage underwent the bicameral process under Article 113 of the Constitution. Given that the bill was originated by this House, the consideration of the President's reservations to the bill will commence in the National Assembly. In this regard, the President's reservations to the bill and the Presidential Memorandum of Referral stand committed to the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs for consideration. The committee should prioritize the bill and table its report soonest to allow this House to consider the President's reservations within the said timelines. Upon conclusion of consideration of the President's reservations by this House, I will transmit the decision of the National Assembly to the Senate, seeking its concurrence on the said decision. Honourable members, I hasten to guide the House that the consideration of the President's reservations to the bills by the respective committees and the House will be undertaken in accordance with the provisions of Article 115 of the Constitution. Further, the guidance contained in the Speaker's communication of July 28, 2015, relating to the consideration of the President's reservations to the bill and amendments thereto will apply as shall be necessary. I now direct the clerk to circulate the memorandum of His Excellency the President to the two bills to all members so that they can familiarize themselves with the contents therein. The House is accordingly informed and guided. Thank you. We do another round. Wow. Can we do 3-3? 3-3? Yes. 3-3. Who do I take? Who do I leave? Mele Odhiambo. Mele Odhiambo.
Woman.
Non-MP, you are all MPs.
We are all MPs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Try and take a minute or two each.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll take less.
Very good.
And we are all MPs. To the CS, I just want to thank you, but I just wanted to ask, the last time you were here, you had made a promise in relation to Sindo Mbita Road to talk to the contractors to do the maintenance before works. And you have actually just indicated that you've released funds. And we know that that is not one of the things that has been done. And I'm sure Honorable Karoli is going to raise the same issue. Can you please clarify what the position is?
Mshomba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to congratulate you, Mr. Speaker, because all I wanted to say about the needs of my constituents have been raised by my colleagues. I wanted to tell you, Mr. Speaker, finally...
Then resume your seat.
No, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to submit because you have given me 1 minute. Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, finally you have brought back central role of making decisions concerning monies that concerns our people as a central role back to the Parliament. And it is good that the executive now have to realize that Parliament has a role to play for any decisions to be made before they make implementations of the budgets that we make here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my question to the CS is...
Take 1 minute each. In Zambia, you don't have to stand up. I can see you from here.
Honorable Speaker, my question to the CS is that he has made it good to return the contractors on site. But my question to you, CS, whereas you are returning the contractors on site, what are you planning to do with respect to maintenance ahead of works? Particularly, I'm talking in terms of two roads, Honorable Speaker, C41 and the road from Shanda, Malaha to Mukweso. What are you planning to do about maintenance ahead of works?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to, the Waziri has 1 minute.
1 minute each.
Yeah.
I'll consider an additional.
Waziri has said all the contractors are back. Honorable Speaker, in my constituency, I have not seen any contractor back, and I know they are pending bills in Thika. But also, I wanted to add, in 22 and 10%, Waziri, that one is a no-no. We are not going to discuss 22% and 10%. It stays the same way it's supposed to be. Thank you.
Yes, the Speaker doesn't need any help. Yes, I'll give to Ngogoyo. 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. On one straight issue, Mr. CS, naturally, KERA operates with work plans. Are there any contrary instructions from you or from KERA instructing the Constituency Roads Committee to prepare for work plans that are less from the monies that naturally would have been planned for? And I'm asking this so that I know whether there is a direct communication from you or from the DG for KERA on different instructions to the Constituency Roads Committee on the amount of monies that they are going to plan for in the next financial year. Because naturally, at such a point, there are always instructions. Are there any instructions that you have issued or the DG for KERA contrary to what has always been planned for in every financial year?
Member for Keyo South.
Mr. Speaker, thank you.
You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There is a question which the CS has not answered. The money for RMLF belongs to 4 institutions. 1, KERA. 2, KENA. 3, KURA. 4, KWS. No, KFS don't get. If you read the 3rd schedule of Kenya Road Sport Act, it gives the 4. Now, the case in court gave a ruling that you set aside 10 billion. There is no part of that ruling that says set aside KERA. So we just need the CS to do, in that formula, there is 10%, 22%, 47%, or how many? Now, why, when you are told to set aside 10 billion, you just target what belongs equitably to the constituency?
Point made. Zambia. And avoid jumping up.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In this house, if you are not careful, you may not get time to express yourself. Honorable Speaker, I have heard the CS express himself to us. Honorable Speaker, before the CS leaves here, because I understand right now, whatever we have in every constituency is 17 million out of 42. We want to know exactly the exact amount from 42, which is 25 million, when he is sending them, because he has just said he will just send the money by next week, we want the total amount, which is 25 million, to be sent to the regional,
Point made.
Thank you.
Honorable members, when we finish this, Musa Serima will be invited to make a statement as chair of CDF committee on the CDF issue that you have been raising. I'll now give to Justice Kemei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Posing, I sent out Pakandia this afternoon because of conducting himself the way you are doing. Take your seat. I've given the floor to Justice Kemei.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The CS in this presentation, Mr. Speaker, has talked about the low-volume seal roads. This program, Mr. Speaker, has left most of the tarmac roads in our constituencies in a very, very terrible state. When is the earliest that the CS expects these roads to be redone? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Donya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we are having the CS for roads, Mr. Speaker, I've just received a message, Mr. Speaker, from my grandmother. She has told me, please listen, as the MPs do good work of connecting the roads, they now request the CS to add some money. As they do the roads, they add water pipes, because governors have failed to do that work, some. Then they can also...
It is clear the message you say you have received is fake, and you're just building a story. Ask a question.
Mr. Speaker, when we debate...
Ask a question to the...
Can they be added for money as they do the roads? They also do water connectivity. Thank you.
Yes. Wow. So you said we do 3-3. I've done 5-5. Wamumbi will be the last. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the CS has said that the contractors have been paid 40%. It's good he clarify that it is 40% of the certificate raised, which is not enough, so he need to check on that, Mr. Speaker. Finally, the CS has a CS allocation, and he said that the money set aside will be released when the stalemate is sorted out. Let the minister release the money from the CS allocation to KERA. Then when the stalemate is sorted out, the money set aside, he can take it to CS allocation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Rueda.
Asante, Bwana Speaker. Ningependa waziri, mwanzo nimpongeze waziri. Ya kwanza nataka nimwambie waziri, sheria zikitengenezwa hakikishe wanafikiria sehemu zingine. Kwangu hakuna barabara imefanywa kwa sababu contractor hawezi kufanya barabara moja, kupeleka tu material kubebwa na meli ni 4 million. Sasa paka contractor washikane ndio waweze kufanya barabara. Hii sheria iliyowekwa bila kufikiria pande za kwetu, barabara zile mbili ambazo zimepeana hazijaweza kufanywa. Ya pili, Bwana Speaker, kwetu watu wanangojea na ngoma. Tunasikia barabara ya kwanza ya tama kinafanywa 1 inch hakuna. Sasa hiyo watafanya. Kwa hivyo wafanye bidii, contractor aje. Watu wanangojea, hiyo ni kama itakuwa sijui ni kitu gani imefanywa, ndio mwanzo haijawahi kufanywa. Tuna hamu ya kungojea contractor. Kila wakati tunaulizwa contractor na kuja lini. Please tuwaomba huyo contractor aje na hiyo barabara moja angalau na sisi tuanze kuona lami. Tusichukue wanafunzi kupeleka sehemu zingine kuangalia lami. Contractor shapewa na...
Point made. Very last, Posing.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. May God bless you, Honorable Speaker, abundantly. Now, Honorable Speaker, some information. The CS said...
What would you have said if I didn't give you the chance?
May God bless you abundantly, my Honorable Speaker.
Go on.
And the God of Rome, may God of Rome bless you. Yes. Honorable Speaker, the CS said that the contractors are either on the way or they are on the ground. I want to inform him that there's no contractor that has come back in the entire West Pokot County. No one. So maybe he would take this opportunity to tell us
that is back on this road, it's back on this road, it is back on this road. Otherwise, those people is zero.
Point made. CS. Members, you agree to 3-3. Let's hear the... Yes, yes. You can see the level of interest.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The issue of maintenance before work, Honorable Millie Odhiambo, is something we've taken up, I've taken up, and where there is a road like in Peter Sindo, traversing your constituency, we really have given instructions to contractors to do maintenance ahead of works. As the road construction is going on, economic activities don't stop. So if that has not happened for this particular road and any other road, I would encourage the members to basically send me a small message, and I will ensure that maintenance is first done to ensure roads are motorable, so that as they do the major work, our citizens are able to use those roads. I think that's the same question as raised by, it seems to be a big concern raised by Nangwe, and therefore I'll take up, let me get information at a more individual level on roads that we really need to do maintenance ahead of work so that the roads are motorable even as we do the major construction. For Thika Town, Alice, I don't know whether we are saying we should not discuss and resolve the impulse on the RMLF, because what we are basically saying is let's not discuss the 22%. And the 22%, we have got a conservatory court order. Are we saying we don't do the mediation? Do I get clear instruction from Parliament not to go that route and we leave it to go through the court? Or can I get very clear guidance, because we really respect for my take. Really respect for my take, because the challenge of, particularly at a time like now,
I thought that the instruction should only come from the Speaker.
Dan, ask what you want.
So, I'm making a clarification, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
That what Mheshimiwa Alice from Thika meant was that they should not securitize the 22% and the 10%. Not to touch the 22% and the 10%. But for what is ongoing in the mediation, that is allowed to continue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
Thank you for that clarification, Honorable Chair. And Ngogoyo, is that Kajiado West? The direct communication...
Kajiado North.
Kajiado North. I think the question from the Member of Parliament for Kajiado North is got to do with whether we have given instructions to the regional engineers not to, as they do the work plans for the next financial year, to exclude what has been withheld in court. And we've not issued those instructions. Let me just be as brief as that, because it is important that we plan. We do see the challenge as an interim and like a challenge, and like I've said, we do not want to unlock the challenge and then we go back to planning for the works. So there are no instructions issued to the regional engineers not to plan for works in line with the 22 and 10% allocation. Kenya South, Banakimayo, I don't remember what the question was. It was a contest of, I didn't record the question properly, but let me finish first with Zambia. When are we?
Kimayo asked that under the schedule, the money is for Kera, Kura, Kenha, and
thank you.
KWS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thought I'd answered that question, but let me just try and get that clarification, that between 2016 and 2021, the money that is in contest and which was being administered by the county government was the Kura and Kera. So what seemed to be in contest was what was taken away from the county government, which was the Kura and the Kera amounts. Because you'll recall, if you go back historically, between 2016 and 2021, these amounts were being administered by the county government. We just returned it to Parliament. And therefore, when the contest came, it was about the Kera and Kura, because the Kena is not in contest, and it has never been administered by the county government. So what we basically did, like I explained, was to withhold the ratios in the share of 15% as a share of 47, which is 15 and 32%. And Speaker, honorable members, I want to provide leadership and ensure that we do seek that mediation at the highest level and unlock this challenge. I think that's more important. With respect to the question raised by when are we seeing the full amount of the disbursement, I did indicate that the amount that we are withholding, or that we still have, not withholding rather, for the 10% and the 20%, we'll release all of it next week, to the extent that it is not within that conservatory order, interim conservatory order issued by the courts. We'll release the amount of 3.5 billion next week, and that will be available to address those roads. With respect to Justice Kamei, what was the question from Justice Kamei? Let me deal first with low volume roads. Honorable members, what we will shortly see with the low volume roads, even the orphan roads, is securitization availing some level of resources for us to repair and reseal the low volume roads across the country. In effect, a number of some of those low volume roads that Mheshimiwa Kemei from, is it Sigawet, raised, is that they are orphan roads. They have not been allocated resources for maintenance. With securitization, like I said, when we really engage and talk to this securitization and what we are able to do with that money, we should be able to maintain, and we are already doing even with the securitization funds, because some of the contractors, immediately they finished the low volume seal roads, they were not able to undertake the maintenance which was within the contract, because there was so much pending bills that they abandoned work. So even the last bit of the 1 year maintenance was not taken up. And therefore, if you go to roads like today, Tarajasita, Chebole, it is being maintained and resealed because we have unlocked and paid for the pending bill. And therefore, they are able to go and do what was not accomplished under the contract. So we'll be able to see quite a number of this happening across the whole country. I just use one example. With respect to Rwaida, Mtakawanda, Kisingitini, I'll push to make sure the contractor goes to site next week, if he has not already gone to site, because I think the contract, the tenders were done. This is probably the first tarmac road in Lamu East. And Mheshimiwa Ruwaida, let me take up that for next week. Honorable Kosing, the contractors, we've just been paying them in the last 1-2 weeks, except that I accompanied His Excellency to China. And unfortunately, it has also been raining. It is on top of my agenda. This is what I probably do every day to make sure that the contractors go back to work. I did say we signed, every contractor who has been paid 40% signed a settlement agreement, which is an agreement to confirm that they'll go back to work on payment of 40% while awaiting the 60% that should be paid within 120 days. And the success of our fundraising the 60% and being paid the balance will be how they perform on the 40%. The settlement agreement also did push the contractors to discount 35% of interest which they had levied on the interest. And therefore, Mheshimiwa Kosing, this Parliament, Honorable Speaker, I wish to confirm that contractors on any road which had been abandoned due to unpaid or pending bills, we're getting them to go back to work. And if they have not gone back to work, it's just because it's raining, it's because they're servicing equipment. You know, this really massive earth-moving equipment, Honorable Speaker, some of them have been lying idle for the last 2-3 years. And so a number of them are being serviced, it is raining, but all of them indiscriminately will go back to work on payment of that 40%, which has happened. And I want to confirm to the House that is going to happen, if it has not happened already. Not in a matter of months, in a matter of days. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I want us to end here with this CS. Mwashako, what is it?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think it's important for the CS to clarify. He has made statements in this House. There are people who are watching online that all contractors have gone back to the road. He is aware.
But he's just explained, Mwashako.
No. Let me say he's aware that the contractor has refused to go back to the road because of the rates. The agreement rates were done in 2021. The contractor has been paid 40%. He said he will not. That is stakeholder cooperation in a road, Mtomogodi, Mbale, Wundanyi, Bura Road. The CS is aware. We were with him in Taveta when the president visited. The contractor has categorically said he's not going back to the road until the rates are reviewed. And therefore, the CS needs to clarify that my people are aware that the contractor is not there because of certain issues, rather than just agreeing that the all contractors are going back to the road. And we've expected the contractor to go back to the road for the last 2 months. Even the president pronounced himself that the contractor was to go there on a Monday 2 months ago. And it is now 2 months later. So,
CS.
Let me confirm, Honorable Chair, to the House that on this particular road in Mwatate, the contractor Stekol has confirmed is going back to work. I do know that the rates that were obtaining for this particular Mtomwagodi road were basically way below, particularly on the hilly areas, and we have resolved that challenge. So the same contractor, Stekol, will go back to work. If he has already not gone to work, I would like to encourage Mheshimiwa to see me after this. Mtomwagodi road is not a challenge as we speak today. There'll be such other cases where, because work has been pending for a long time, and because of the escalation of cost, a number of contractors could be seeking to have their rates reviewed. But we have not opened that window. But for this particular one, there was a challenge, and Mheshimiwa, this road, we don't have a challenge. We have resolved that concern with the contractor, and the contractor, if he has not gone back to work already, should be back to work next week. And I want to confirm, Tom Wagodi, I have been in constant touch with this contractor. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. You are released to go back. Now, we'll now invite Musa Sirma to make a statement in relation to the release of CDF funds. After that, members with requests for statements, be ready.
Mr. Speaker, following your intervention and giving me instructions to get firm confirmation of release of funds from Treasury this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, I visited the Treasury where I had a meeting with the PS, the Director General, Mr. Ndungu, and also Mr. CS Mbadi on the release which he promised that he was going to release on the 29th. Due to technical or unavoidable circumstances, he has given a firm confirmation that the money will be released. Yes. That is going to release the money on Friday. Tomorrow is on holiday.